just want to thank you, Danny, for taking the time to chat with us here at the Christian Beat, all about your upcoming new album, Sound of Heaven. We'll start there and kind of see where the conversation takes us.
Sure, absolutely.
So I guess first, just talk a little bit. I'm curious why Sound of Heaven is the title that you feel kind of encapsulates this project for you.
So a couple things. Sound of Heaven, it represents, the album represents the different sides of me. So it's not just one sound, right? But neither is heaven. Heaven is very diverse. But the way I was able to grow up, the United States is the melting pot, but especially where I grew up in the city I grew up, it's very diverse. And I love that God formed and fashioned me that way around a lot of culture. So, on this record, for instance, there's worship, praise, CCM, pop, soul, messages of hope. There's Latin sounds, there's Afro beats. Just it's all over the board. But the Bible says that every nation, tribe, and tongue will be around the throne worshiping the Lord. So I feel like we were able to capture just a little bit of that sound, a little bit of what heaven's going to be like, and put it in a record. And it's a party everyone's invited to. The party is the record is fun. It's joyful. It's everybody's invited to it.
That's awesome. Now, did you have that kind of idea going into this project and when you were starting to put it together? Or is this kind of something that kind of started to come to you as you were pulling together all of these different songs and sounds and pieces?
It started coming together this way and organically. First thing I do when I make a record is I pray, Lord, what is it that you want me to say, express in these songs? So it starts there. And as I was making the record, I started noticing that it was diverse. And I was just thinking in my head, all right, how do I wrap this up so that it's not, so that people understand that this is, I don't want people to be confused, right?
Yeah.
And when the song Sound of Heaven, it just, first of all, the name Sound of Heaven, it just brought it all together for me, because heaven is so diverse, with the people, with the languages, with, the color of skin, and the types of food that we're going to have in heaven, the types of music we're going to hear. It's all diverse. And so I love that I was able to, that God helped me pull it together. And one of the things that God made it clear to me was, do not hide who I made you to be. Because it can be sometimes daunting to walk in to a task like this and make a record that is diverse, because you have worship radio, you have CCM radio, you have rock radio, you have pop radio, you have country radio. Everything's like one place. This goes here, that goes there.
Yeah.
And that's what God didn't intend to be for me,
No, absolutely. And with that, you also then have different collaborations and features on this album that would also be not necessarily people that you would think all would be on the same one as well. So you want to talk a little bit of those as well?
Yeah. So me and Evan Kraft teamed up again to do a song together. It's been time since we did it. And then me and Naomi Rain did a worship song together. Of course, she's known from Maverick City and her own music. And Limo Blaze, the Afrobeats artist, we got to pair up with him, and Miko Eme, a reggaeton artist. So I got to team up with a lot of people on this, and I love how the songs came out.
That's awesome. I know that you've pre-released a handful already. Are there any of those that, I don't want to say you were surprised about the reaction, but they were picked up on differently than maybe you had anticipated that they would land?
I would say, like, maybe the one song that's given me the biggest surprise is I Got You. That's the current single right now, but I'm not just picking that song because it's the single. I'm picking it because it really has a story behind it. It had a slow start, and then all of a sudden it just took off. It turned the corner a couple of weeks ago, and it went viral on TikTok. It's just going places, and I was really happy about that. I've never seen that with a song have a slow start and then just pick up and explode. And so that's been really fun to watch, because it's the lead song off the album.
was gonna say, so can you articulate better, why you think it got that turning point? Or is it still just one of those things that just kind of had its moment then?
I don't know because one of the things that I try to do is I try to make songs go viral on my social media all the time because it's how we get our music out there is to get it
Hmm.
to just keep going. And I've seen songs that immediate response right away, boom, boom, boom. Um, I've never seen a song have a slow response and then just explode. So it's all new territory for me. It's just like it's cool to watch and it's cool to see. Okay, maybe sometimes, uh, like if you hear a song on the radio for the first time, like, oh, that's a cool song, and then
Hmm.
you hear, oh, I love this song, and I think that's might just be what happened.
Oh, that's funny. That is. Is there anything else that kind of stands out for you so far in just like the creation of this project from some of your others and kind of how this one's a little bit differentiated for you?
Well, I'm not sure if anything really stands out yet because I want to see how the response is of the whole record. But I mean, just the creation of the record. It's been 3 years since I released a record, and so it's interesting to see like how much space has gone by between both.
Uh-huh.
So we'll see.
We will for sure. From the tracks that haven't been released yet, is there any that you're feeling are going to really speak to the current, just society, or there's any that are really speaking to your heart right now, maybe a little bit more so than others?
I have a song on the record called "Makeup," and it's a song that speaks to the culture, and it's it's a confrontational song. And that's part of the sound of heaven, not confrontation, but correction. In the song, I'm making a plea with the culture to say, hey, we need to wake up because the devil's trying to play us. He's mesmerized us with the makeup, but it's made up. Open your eyes, stop buying all the lies, because evil is dressing up to fool the people. It's got all the saints on pins and needles, and it's just saying, hey, the things that you're saying looks good is actually destructive. The things um, that you are falling in love with and you think is your right or you think is liberation is actually the thing that's going to destroy you. And you just don't see it. And so it's one of those songs, and I'm not trying to be confrontational for confrontation's sake, but correction, if I were to get into a plane in LA and I wanted to go to Nashville because I had a business meeting there, and that business meeting would be a big deal that would help me out financially. I would not want to end up in New York. But if the pilot gets in that plane and he gets in the air and the atmosphere is blowing, the winds are changing, the jet stream's going, and he doesn't make any corrections in his course corrections, we'll end up in a place we didn't want to be and miss a very important meeting and miss something that would have been very beneficial to me. That's the same thing that goes on with correction with the scriptures. God is not trying to thumb you down. God does not, when every time you tell someone, hey, that could be wrong, well, you hate me, you're hate this, hate that. And it's saying, no, Jesus has the intended destination of life and life more abundantly. And the path that you're on, if you don't make any corrections, it's gonna leave you dry, it's gonna leave you empty, and it's gonna leave you wanting more, and it's gonna end up destroying you. So make that correction, make the change.
That'll be interesting to see how that one resonates with folks when they get to listen to that one. So
Yeah, I've heard a few people who listened to it, they really loved it. So I hope it gets that same response.
yeah,
It's very
no.
theatrical, it's very different.
Oh, okay. Interesting. So we talked a little bit already about like the different sounds of heaven. Do you want to just talk a little bit just musically, how kind of you pulled into different styles and different genres and just how uh, you don't obviously get to do that on all of your projects. So kind of how it was fun to flex different muscles and pull all of those things together.
Yeah, I mean, I think our world is culture is closer now than ever before because the way music is streamed, and now we have access to. You don't have to go buy CDs anymore, so you're not limited to. Well, I guess I get this artist or that artist with my budget. No, you pay this fee, and and YouTube, it's made us closer together. So I think the market's prime for different sounds
Hmm.
already. So I think it's a natural progression for where we're going. Um, but with that being said, it was fun just watching it happen. And then fun when I wrote the song Sound of Heaven, just to have that title, Sound of Heaven, um, to bring everything together was really, really an answer to prayer.
Awesome. Yeah, that'll be, yeah, I really liked how the story of how the songs all fit together kind of encapsulate itself with the title too. So uh it's a it's a good close there. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about recently, you were talking about being on tour again with Tauren later this fall. Do you want to just talk a little bit about, obviously you don't have all of that figured out yet. You still have a couple couple months ahead of you there. But do you just want to talk a little bit about that opportunity, being able to be out with him again and bring your new music with you?
Yeah, I'm getting ready to go no holds bars and ready to go off and excited because Torn is such a brilliant artist.
Hmm.
I'm getting ready to pull out my A game because I just love touring with people who are just top caliber because it just makes you want to go higher with them.
Hmm.
Excited about that. I just created my set list for it last week and I'm getting arrangements done with my music director and I'm just ready to go hard, especially the new album.
Hmm.
It's man, it's just gonna be such a party.
That's awesome. And you had already, this isn't your first time touring with Torrin, correct? You had toured with him previously.
Years ago, before he broke,
Okay.
yeah, before his record hit.
Oh,
Oh, yeah,
awesome.
actually, I did. No, his record had just started hitting. Forgive me, I forgot. There's two other times. The
Okay.
first me and Natalie, and that was before he broke. And then the second time was 2018. I think it was
Okay.
like 2017 and 2018.
Okay. So it's been a while for that one then too.
Been a while.
That's awesome. So if you had said you were already starting to put together the set list, so kind of what's in your mind for kind of like the message that you want to weave through your set, the music, and what you bring to those nights?
I want it to be joy, and I want it to be hope. Joy, hope, and just a closeness. I want them to feel close to God.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be excited about that. And I know we are getting close to time. So I just want to give you the opportunity. You've already talked a little bit about what Sound of Heaven means, but do you just want to share kind of what's on your heart, what's on the expectations that you have for this project and how God will use it?
Yeah, I mean, I give it at this point, I give it to the Lord. And it's like the 2 fish and 5 loaves. And I present it before him and say, Lord, here's here's what I have. It's not much. You know, 'cause respectively, like the God who created the heavens and the earth, this is not much. But here's my 2 fish and 5 loaves. Take it, bless it, thank you for it. And I pray that you multiply it now. That is the goal.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I can't wait for it to be out in full and just to see what all the reaction and everything it is to it. So thank you for, yeah.
Jesse, I make one more thing that I've been sharing in every interview.
Yeah,
This,
absolutely.
I don't know how this is going to air, but just want it before we have our tour, me and my wife are hosting an event in Nashville. And so I just want to invite people who are seeing this interview, if they want to come to Nashville, to allow me and my wife to host them. It's Labor Day weekend. It's called Live and La Vida Gokey Fan Experience. It's a private concert. They'll get to hear all the music first and do cookouts with us. My wife's going to cook and fire and marshmallows and writers rounds. And so we want to invite people to go to liveandlavidagokey.com because a lot of people want to come to Nashville and we want to be the host for them. So it was a limited space though. So get your tickets now.
Absolutely. That sounds fun. Lots of activities you're packing into that too.
All right.
So awesome. Well, thank you again, Danny, for taking the time to chat with us. Really enjoyed getting to hear more of your heart behind the music.
Thank you, Jesse. God bless you.